I want to start by saying I do love Syracuse University.
Coming up on News Live at 6, the Board of Trustees has chosen Mike Haney as SU's next chancellor. What's ahead for the university's next leader?
The U.S. continues strikes across Iran while pressure builds on Capitol Hill. What this means for the future of the Middle East.
And temperatures have been warming up. Here in Syracuse. Is that trend here to stay? I'll have your full 5-day forecast and more. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Mike Haney is the appointed chancellor and president of Syracuse University starting on July 1st. Welcome to News Live at 6 for this evening. I'm Moira Vaughan.
And I'm Isabella Galan. Haney has been a part of the Syracuse community for 20 years, serving as the current Whitman Dean and SU Vice President for Strategic Initiatives and Innovation. Here to break down the new chancellor appointee and his future initiatives for our campus is Alex Burstein. Alex, what can we expect from the jump out of Haney?
Well, Bella, we can expect someone who really bleeds orange. Haney's made that clear in all of his remarks so far today. But more importantly, he's someone who brings relevant experience during a very perilous time for higher education. It's something he acknowledged in his first email to students as chancellor-elect. Haney wrote, quote, "Higher education stands at a defining inflection point, and Syracuse University must make consequential choices that will shape its future for generations to come." This stemming from federal funding cuts from the Trump administration against a number of higher education institutions and nationwide questions about both diversity and inclusion. So who exactly is Haney? Well, his resume during 20 years with Syracuse has been quite impressive. He's taken this initiative on SU's veteran programs as a vice chancellor while also leading one of Syracuse's highest ranked schools, the Whitman School of Management. He becomes Syracuse's first openly gay chancellor and the first internal promotion to the position since the 70s. Haney made it clear today, however, he's got a very open mind moving forward.
I don't come into this role with a predetermined strategy already drafted and ready to execute. That would be the wrong way to start because it would not reflect the respect that I have for this community. What I'm going to do first is listen.
A big part of Haney's recent years with Syracuse has been work that transcends beyond the university. He oversaw SU's COVID-19 pandemic response at the start of the decade, and he's been one of the leading voices for the area landing the Micron Technologies facility and how the university can be involved further. These partnerships, he says, are very important to the campus community.
But today we must seize the opportunity to come together and be the engine that powers one of the most significant economic transformations in Central New York's history.
Alex, thanks for joining us at the desk. You know, this is a very interesting time right now for higher education institutions nationally. I'm wondering, has Haney come out and really said anything as to his future of how he will continue to promote higher education institutions?
Yeah, we haven't gotten any clear words from him on just the first day, but Syracuse as a whole, and obviously he's been high up in the institution for a number of years now, has worked a very fine line against the Trump administration and trying to avoid any of those funding cuts, but also sticking to its values. They removed the Office of Diversity and Inclusion this past summer, but they haven't made any big changes in the last couple of months. We have seen Haney in the past tweet a couple of times about Trump's response to the veteran programs. He tweeted during a 2016 debate between Trump and Hillary Clinton saying he was not happy with the response, but the big thing with him is just how academics are important and how these funding cuts can't happen. Here's what he had to say during today's press conference.
Academic excellence is the engine that will sustain everything that we value about this institution today and also fuel everything that we aspire to achieve into the future.
So he says right there too, academic excellence. Besides that, are there any big changes that we're expecting to see once he steps into this role?
I think we're really going to have to wait and see, and we heard from him earlier on that he doesn't have a set plan because he wants to listen to the stakeholders. He wants to listen to both the students and the faculty at this university. I think it is a very interesting hire because you have someone coming already who is in a university role. Like we said earlier, Syracuse hasn't had an internal promotion like this since the 1970s, so there's no quite precedent for this move. He is someone who we mentioned, the first openly gay person in this role, so you might see some increase of inclusion programs.
Yeah.
Also, he mentioned in his first press conference he wants to improve on the sports programs here at Syracuse. So there are some small changes we can maybe expect, but he hasn't really come out with a set plan. That'll be in the coming months. He has until July, obviously, until he gets into this role.
Alex, thank you for your in-depth reporting and this conversation. An HR complaint released by the Daily Orange last night alleges that special advisor to the chancellor and candidate for athletic director Heather Like, quote, contributed to a culture of intimidation among Syracuse athletic employees. The report was filed in early December and lists how Like allegedly engaged in harassment, bullying, and abuse of authority. The documents say in parts regarding Like's direction, quote, there have been instances where employees have left meetings or direct interactions visibly distressed, including crying, end quote. SU's Human Resources ruled none of the allegations violated university policy. The report states that Like received feedback on her approach.
Last night, the Student Government Association announced that the university would be installing its first ever contraceptive vending machine in Shine Student Center. The current university machines, students will be able to pay with Cash Card or Q's Cash. The Shine machine is the first of many SGA plans to place others in different locations across campus.
New developments are underway for the village of Solvay. An empty lot on the corner of Milton and Cogswell Avenue will now bring more housing to the area. Onondaga County Executive Ryan McMahon announced the Milton Corner development project today. He says that he's seen more support for these investments, especially as the region awaits Micron.
It's happened. And we need to understand this, right? Because we're all making history together, right? From developing a mega site that many people said could not work and would not work. But guess what? It's sure working. And so we're so proud of that. And I want to thank our team members in county government, specifically that worked to execute on that with me. For jobs, drive opportunities to make sure that here in the United States, we win the artificial
Other
intelligence
investors
race,
of
so
the project
world
include
is a
the
safer
OCHIP
place.
program and the Restore New York program. McMahon expects construction to start in early July this year.
The Syracuse Stage's latest student production, Picnic, a story of forbidden love on the plains of 1950s Kansas, is winding down. Our Boone Kilpatrick went behind the scenes to teach us a little bit more about the lighting of the show.
Picnic is the latest student production here at the Syracuse Stage's Storch Theater. But what goes into lighting something like this? A lot more than you'd think.
Our work is about making it feel so seamless and effortless and beautiful and perfect that nobody would ever notice that it's kind of a trick.
A trick, like mimicking a sunrise on stage to open the show. With Picnic set in 1950s Kansas over the course of one day, establishing time suddenly fell squarely on the lighting team.
One of the biggest things for this show was that, we're living in a pretty realistic world. Something me and Alex wanted to really highlight with this was time of day references.
The show used over 130 changes in lights, a relatively tame amount. Some shows can have over 500. Each and every change has to be punched in manually by the programmer. The programmer has all of the commands written in front of her, but to figure out how to coordinate each and every light, an assistant needs to do a lot of paperwork and write up something called
a magic sheet. Is a cheat sheet for the designer to be able to know what all of the channels are for their cardinal directions.
The designer uses the sheet to execute their vision and place dozens of massive lights to get the look just right, and that only covers the artistic side.
At the end of the day, our job is really to make sure actors are lit correctly, make sure we can see people's faces.
That's more complicated than it sounds. The show's light cues are pre-programmed, so actors need to be in exactly the right spot at all times. Add in props, costumes, and a budget, it's a lot for a lighting designer to earn their post-show flowers.
It still is one of my favorite parts of the process, to generate a plan for where all the lights go in the space on paper, and then to walk into the theater for the first time and see everything that you did in like a two-dimensional flat drawing now realized in 3 dimensions in the real space.
Jane Chill says he's happy when a review doesn't mention him. Going unnoticed means he's pulled off the trick. In Syracuse, Boone Kilpatrick, CitrusTV.
Thanks so much, Boone. Well, Moira, I went and actually saw Picnic at the Syracuse stage
No
on
way.
its night for previews, and I thought the lighting was truly incredible. So getting to see kind of the behind the scenes was really, really interesting.
I love that. I think that it's so interesting, the one shot of the rainbow lighting coming through it a little
beautiful.
bit.
It was beautiful, and I wish we had a rainbow outside today, but it was just rain and gray skies. So hopefully that rainbow will come in for St. Patrick's Day, but we have our Brody Miller outside to give us a look at what those temperatures are feeling like. Hey, Brody.
Thanks, Moira and Bella. Today we've seen such a wide array of conditions, really. I woke up, it was cloudy, it's been rainy, there was a little bit of hail thrown in. Such a contrast to the blue skies we saw yesterday. Right now it's about 35 degrees with not too strong winds. The feels like is around 32 degrees, but there is some light rain showers, so those light rain will melt the little patches of snow we are seeing around campus. But that's all I have right now. I'll have your full 5-day forecast later in the show. Back to you, girls.
Brody, thank you. District officials say Liverpool High School is no longer on lockdown as of 1 o'clock after threatening graffiti was found in one of the bathrooms earlier today. The district shared the message included a threat with a specific time. The threat only related to the high school. This is the second time alarming notes was found at the school, with writing on the bathroom walls found just 2 months ago. Police are actively investigating the threat.
Indeed, beginning this fall, we will provide 2,000 free childcare seats for 2-year-olds in 4 different parts of our city.
Governor Kathy Hochul and New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani have announced the first step in their plan to provide free childcare for 2-year-olds in the city. Starting in the fall, the first 4 communities to receive 2,000 seats in the program known as 2K are Washington Heights and Inwood, Fordham and Kingsbridge, East Brooklyn and Ozone Park, and Rockaways. This announcement is part of Hochul's commitment to provide affordable universal child care across the state. By next year, it is expected that $425 million will be invested to expand the city's 2K programs.
Coming up, it's the 4th day of U.S.-Israeli joint strikes in the Middle East. The newest updates, including which U.S. embassies in the Middle East have closed.
And Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem defended her agency in front of the Senate. That and more when we come back.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Breaking just moments ago, the Washington Post reports that a suspected Iranian drone struck a CIA station in Saudi Arabia.
The strike has allegedly hit the United States Embassy in the country. Follow Citrus TV News for more updates.
Today marks the 4th day of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. A Senate War Powers vote is officially scheduled for Wednesday, aiming to rein in the president's military powers.
The White House says Iranian military installations are knocked out and new strikes will target Iranian leadership. Arben Basak reports from Washington, D.C. with the latest.
On the 4th day of U.S.-Israeli joint strikes in the Middle East, Central Command confirms 6 U.S. troops are dead and nearly 20 others injured. The Iranian Red Crescent reports nearly 800 dead within Iran. Americans are being urged to leave 14 countries in the region because of serious safety risks, and U.S. embassies in Beirut, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia are now closed. The U.S. consulate in Saudi Arabia caught fire this afternoon after it was struck by a suspected Iranian drone. The national average for a gallon of gas climbed above $3 today as trading through the Strait of Hormuz stopped. U.S. stocks falling sharply as fears over the global oil supply grow. The United Nations confirmed damage to an Iranian nuclear facility, while U.S. officials warn about the scale of Iran's initial uranium supply.
They controlled 460 kilograms of 60%, and they're aware that that could make 11 nuclear bombs, and that was the beginning of their negotiating stance.
Now, the president says that strikes could continue for another 4 weeks, but it's unclear whether those strikes will actually set the Iranian people up to build their own legitimate government. Reporting from Washington, Ben Basak, Citrus TV News.
And in President Trump's historic first year back in office, nearly 3 million illegal aliens have left the United States as a result of the administration's enforcement efforts.
That was Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who appeared today in front of a Senate committee to defend her department's immigration enforcement actions. This comes after the deaths of 2 protesters in Minneapolis back in January. Noem defended her agency's actions by blaming violent protesters and a dangerous environment.
Local officials and bystander videos have contradicted these claims, leading Democrats and even some Republicans to call for her resignation. During the questioning, Noem backed her previous statements, faulting protesters for the chaotic scene. Noem is also expected to appear tomorrow in front of a House committee.
And coming up on News Live at 6, I'll have your 5-day forecast. Stick with us.
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. You're going to get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh, yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Women are bad with money.
That's what the world's been saying for centuries.
But now, we've got something to say. Save it.
Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses.
It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So again, we say to that,
Save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault. Then the funds.
learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back into News Live at 6. And as I mentioned earlier, we've seen a wide array of conditions at just the beginning of the week, and the next 5 days are going to be no different. Now, tomorrow when you wake up, it is going to be pretty cloudy, but that high of 44 is much higher than what we've been seeing recently. Back on Thursday, it's going to be a pretty rainy day, so a nice day to stay inside, finish up all those assignments before our spring break begins on Friday. On Friday, we're going to have a high of 45 degrees. Saturday, I know a lot of us won't be here, but it's going to be the warmest day we've seen in a while at around 63 degrees, and then Sunday we're going to have a partly cloudy day with a high of 54. Now, taking a look around the region, we are seeing temperatures in around the mid-30s with Rochester at 36 there, Utica at 32, and Syracuse at 35. All of these conditions had me wondering, how long has the snow actually been lasting here? So on the November snow total was 17.7 inches. That was the first day of snow. And then last year, the last time we got snow was April 16th. So I'm hoping we don't have snow that late this year, but that's all I have for you guys right now.
Seeing that sun in the forecast really got me.
Well, we're not here.
I don't know what I love
here.
more. I know, the sun, the food. I mean, good timing for the food because Syracuse Dining Week began on Sunday with over 50 local restaurants participating.
That's right, Moira. Our Sophia Drager got a little taste of how students can eat downtown on a budget.
For the first 2 weeks of March, Syracuse is serving up something special. It's Downtown Dining Weeks, with exclusive meal deals at participating restaurants across the city, including student favorites like margaritas, Dinosaur Barbecue, Sassy's, and Tea House by Cake Bar.
I think Dining Week's important just because it does bring in a ton of different people, and it gives anyone really the opportunity to try out a variety of different restaurants, and it's featuring some of our most popular dishes just to give people an opportunity to try those.
Downtown Dining Weeks are the perfect opportunity for students to come downtown and splurge on restaurants they normally wouldn't. On dates March 1st through 14th, students can get desserts for $10, 2-course lunches for $15, and 3-course dinners for $40 or less, like the one I have here, which is mac and cheese, coleslaw, and a good-looking burger. Come downtown this March for Syracuse Dining Week.
Right now, with everything going on in the world and as people looking to save a couple extra dollars, it's nice to have some deals to get people out and about, especially now that spring is coming around the corner. We like to see people come out and about and be able to sit down, have a halfway decent meal, enjoy themselves, and relax. So it's going to be a drink, an appetizer, a main entree, and then dinner.
Downtown Dining Weeks are full of big flavors and small prices at all participating locations across Syracuse. For Citrus TV News, I'm Sophia Drager.
Well, coming up next on News Live at 6, there's trouble in paradise. Lots of drama still to come for Syracuse athletics and in search of the next AD. Stay tuned.
Welcome to my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Well, we've had plenty of noise off the field as well as on it. Welcome to Citrus TV Sports. I'm Nicholas Whaley. It's been just 3 weeks since Syracuse Athletic Director John Wildhack announced he'd retire at the end of June, but we may not have to wait too much longer to know his replacement. Yesterday, Matt Norlander of CBS Sports reported that we should expect a new hire to be announced before March 10th. Interestingly enough, that news came before the Daily Orange's Cooper Andrews wrote about complaints made against Special Advisor to the Chancellor and Athletic Director and former Pitt Athletic Director Heather Lyke. Does that mean that Lyke is off the short list of candidates to be the next AD? Well, it certainly makes things a bit more interesting if Wildhack's successor is set to be picked within the next 2 weeks. It seems more likely that the hire would be in-house, but with this report, that might not be the case. Some other candidates include Akron AD Dr. Andrew Goodrich, John Cunningham, the AD at Cincinnati, and Nick Caparelli, the executive director of the Coca-Cola Bowl season. Make sure to stay tuned to Citrus TV Sports and News for the latest. And the new AD will be very busy, and their first major decision will more than likely focus on what's going on with Syracuse men's basketball. Following its defeat to Wake Forest on Saturday, the frustration for Coach Adrian Autry was telling.
You got to do tough things. You got to make tough plays. You got to have resistance. You got to be able to defend. And, you know, we just don't do that. We've been inconsistent all year, and that's reflected in our record. That's been a challenge all year. To get people to care about that end of the floor and not only the offensive end of the floor.
Not be over just yet, but with 2 games to go, SU is looking over its shoulder in the ACC standings. The Qs must win one of its last 2 remaining games to remove any doubt of making the ACC tournament. That first opportunity is tonight on the road against Louisville, who just dropped out of the rankings this week. Tip-off is at 9 p.m. And I know sports has been a little bit negative this week, so let's just be a little bit more positive because Syracuse women's basketball is on its way to the ACC and likely NCAA tournament. The Orange finished off the regular season with a 90-65 win over Boston College, locking up the 7th seed in the ACC tournament. We also have breaking news in the last hour. Uche Izoje is the Rookie of the Year in the ACC. The center averaged over 18 points and 11 rebounds this season. She will lead the Cuse against either Cal or Wake Forest next Thursday. In the latest bracketology, they're picked to be the 9th seed in March Madness, but there's still so much basketball still to be played. Finally, let's check in on women's lacrosse, who are playing right now against California in the Dome. And Syracuse had the early lead and have stuck with it. They're on a 9-0 run. They actually just scored again to make it 11-1 to start the second half. This is a Syracuse team that started the season 0-3, and it will be certainly exciting to see if Reggie Thorpe can make it 3 wins on the bounce. That's all for sports. Isabella and Moira, back to you.
Well, we love to see the women.
Love to see it.
So
Love
well.
to see those ladies killing it
but
out
when
there.
we come back, we will have one last look at your wake-up letter.
Stay with us.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. When you wake up tomorrow, it's going to be cloudy and 33 degrees, but as the day goes on, the sun is going to peek out and the temperatures are going to warm up, which is always some good news. But back to you two.
Brody, thank you. And that's Citrus TV News live at 6 for this Tuesday.
Don't forget you can follow us on X and Instagram at CitrusTV News. Now for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Isabella Galan.
And I'm Moira Vaughan. Have a great night, Syracuse.